Hello, my dear friends. Today I want to ask you a question that might sting a little, but it's one that needs to be asked. Have you ever walked into a room filled with your own children and felt invisible? Like somehow the respect once written in their eyes just faded? If you felt this, you are not alone. And if you haven't yet, then this video might just save you from ever having to. Respect isn't a birthright. Even as a parent, it isn't guaranteed with age or sacrifice. It's built brick by brick through how we carry ourselves, how we speak, how we lead, even in our later years. But there are behaviors, quiet, seemingly harmless, that slowly chip away at that respect. Until one day you realize your words no longer carry weight, your presence no longer brings pause. Your children smile out of habit, not honor. And that realization, it hurts more than loneliness ever could. In this video, we're going to uncover the 4 silent mistakes many seniors make, often without even knowing, and why these choices push their children further away. But more importantly, we'll show you how to shift it all, how to reclaim your place, not with force, but with wisdom. This isn't about controlling your children, it's about inspiring them to look at you again with admiration. So make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, find a quiet spot, and let's walk this path together. Because the truth is, it's never too late to become the kind of parent your grown-up children can't help but respect. And one more thing before we begin, if you've ever felt like you're losing connection with your family, or simply want to build deeper, more meaningful relationships as you age, this is your space. Like the video if you care about strong family ties, and don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories like this. And here's a thought to share in the comments. Respect isn't asked for, it's earned. Do you agree, or is love enough? Stay with me until the very end, because the final part of this video may just be the message your heart has been waiting for. Let's begin with the first silent mistake many parents over 60 make, often without even realizing it. It's something that comes from love, but is often received as something else entirely. It's control. You see, there's a fine line between caring and commanding, and that line gets blurry as we get older. We've spent a lifetime guiding our children through scraped knees, bad report cards, breakups, and dreams. But then one day they're grown, and suddenly they don't want guidance anymore. They want trust. They want space. They want respect. But what do many of us do instead? We keep holding the reins, even when the horse has long started running on its own. Imagine this. Your child is in the kitchen, cooking dinner their own way. You walk in and say, "That's not how I do it. Back in my day, we..." You don't even finish the sentence, and already their face tightens. It's not just about a recipe. It's about the fact that you don't trust their way of living. And the more you do this, whether it's how they raise your grandchildren, manage their finances, or decorate their home, the more they start to pull away. At first, they might just listen quietly. Then they stop sharing. Eventually, they stop asking. Because instead of feeling seen by you, they feel judged. Here's the bitter truth. No one opens up to someone who always needs to correct them. And no one respects a voice that only echoes disapproval. You might think, but I only want what's best for them. And that's true. But when you lead with control instead of compassion, they don't see wisdom. They see walls. Tall, cold, unmoving. There's a beautiful quote that says, "The more you control, the less they see you as wise, and more as a wall." And walls don't get hugs. They don't get calls. They don't get invited in. So if you've noticed that your children talk less when you're around, or their responses are shorter, or their visits feel rushed, ask yourself gently, am I trying to help, or am I trying to command? Because even the most well-meaning guidance, when wrapped in control, becomes a silent wedge between hearts. But here's the hope. It's never too late to trade control for curiosity, to let your grown children teach you something, to stand beside them rather than above. When you do that, when they feel your trust instead of your tactics, you don't just get respect. You earn love that lasts even when your voice is no longer loud. Now, let's look at the second behavior that slowly erodes the sacred thread between parents and children. And this one, surprisingly, is often done with a smile. Shall we continue? And now let's talk about the second silent mistake, one that comes not from a place of dominance, like control, but from hurt, from the loneliness that slowly creeps in and turns into something darker, complaining. At first glance, it sounds harmless. A parent says, "You never call. You only show up when you need something." It sounds like longing, but to the child, it often feels like blame. You see, words like that don't invite connection. They push it away, because guilt is a terrible glue for relationships. It doesn't bind, it burns. Let's look at what's really happening here. When you say, "You never call," your child doesn't hear, "I miss you." They hear, "You're failing me." And instead of feeling pulled closer, they feel like they've disappointed you before the conversation even begins. And once that becomes a pattern, they stop wanting to pick up the phone. Because every call starts with a sigh. Every visit begins with a wound. And no one, not even your own child, wants to walk into a room where they're greeted by guilt. Here's a truth that's hard to swallow. If every conversation begins with guilt, it ends with distance. But there's a better way, a softer way, to say the same thing. Instead of, "You never call," try, "It makes my whole day when I hear your voice." Or, "Your visits bring light into this house." I love those moments. See the difference? One builds a wall, the other builds a bridge. And I know where this complaining comes from. It comes from a deep ache, from watching the ones you love drift into their own busy worlds and fearing they might forget how much you still long for their presence. That ache is real, but don't let it twist into bitterness. Don't let it push away the very people you want to hold close, because your words still have power, even now, maybe especially now. So the next time your child walks through the door or calls you from across the country, give them the gift of joy, not judgment. Let them walk into love, not a list of complaints, and you'll be amazed how often they want to come back. And now let's move to the third quiet habit that drains respect. Not from the things we say, but from what we've failed to build for ourselves. The next behavior might surprise you, because on the outside it looks like humility, but underneath it's a quiet cry for value. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about a type of parent that doesn't scream or shout, but still causes respect to slowly fade away. The kind that always plays the victim. These are the parents who constantly say things like, "I know I'm a burden," or "No one really cares about me anymore." Or even worse, they don't say anything at all, but their silence is filled with guilt, sadness, and quiet blame. They bring up their health problems not to inform, but to fish for pity. They talk about their loneliness not to connect, but to make their children feel guilty. And the result? Their children don't feel closer. They feel suffocated. You see, love is one thing, but respect is something else. When a parent always acts like they are weak, broken, or emotionally dependent, the child doesn't see strength anymore. They see someone who drains them emotionally. And when every conversation begins with guilt, it almost always ends with distance. Children stop calling not because they don't love you, but because every phone call becomes heavy. Every visit feels like an obligation. It becomes emotionally exhausting. And here's the truth that's hard to admit. They won't respect you for your pain. They'll respect you for your strength. So what should you do? First, stop using your pain as a way to hold on to them. Instead, use your presence. Use your joy. Talk about something that made you smile. Share your day, not just your aches. When you speak, let your words remind them that you're still living, still growing, still curious about the world. You can say, "I've been feeling a little off lately, but I'm still trying to learn watercolor painting, and it's terrible, but fun." That's the kind of energy that pulls people toward you. Be the kind of parent your children look forward to hearing from. Not because they feel sorry for you, but because they feel inspired by you. You are not just a story of pain. You are a survivor, a thinker, a person still full of stories, thoughts, and light. And if you've fallen into the pattern of always playing the victim, forgive yourself. You were just trying to be seen. But now you know there's a better way. Let's walk toward it. Because the next behavior is one that often hides in everyday conversations, and it has the power to fracture respect in subtle, lasting ways. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about one of the most quietly destructive behaviors a parent can have: becoming the divider. This doesn't come with shouting or anger. It often comes with a soft voice, a sigh, and a sentence that stings for years. Your brother always did better. Your sister never talked back. Or why can't you be more like them? Maybe you didn't mean harm. Maybe you thought it was motivation. But every comparison cuts deeper than you realize. When you compare your children, even in passing, you are not just pointing out a difference. You are picking a favorite. And no matter how subtle it is, the others feel it. They may not confront you. They may even smile and nod. But inside, something begins to close. The room goes cold, the bond weakens, and slowly they stop confiding in you. They stop visiting just to talk. They start seeing you as someone they must tolerate, not someone they trust. This doesn't just damage your relationship with one child. It creates rifts between siblings, between spouses, and across generations. A parent who constantly divides will one day sit in the middle of a family that is only united by polite silence. No one truly opens up. No one feels safe. And all you're left with is empty dinners and shallow smiles. Respect dies where comparison begins. And here's the harsh truth. The moment you compare, you choose one child and lose the rest. So if you've ever caught yourself saying things like, "Your brother was always more thoughtful," stop. Instead, try saying, "You each bring something different into this family, and I value that." See the difference? One sentence builds bridges, the other burns them. You have the power to be the glue that keeps the family whole, or the crack that breaks it apart. The choice is yours. And if you've made mistakes in the past, know this: it's never too late to change the tone of your home. Respect isn't about being right, it's about making people feel valued. Let that be your new legacy. Why do so many older parents, without even realizing it, fall into the trap of controlling, complaining, playing the victim, or dividing the family? The answer isn't cruelty, it's loneliness, it's fear. It's the quiet ache of watching your world shrink while everyone else seems to be building theirs. When your body slows down, your phone doesn't ring as much, and the house feels a little too quiet. The need to feel seen, heard, and important becomes louder than words. Many parents don't actually want to control their children. What they truly crave is connection. They want to feel like they still matter, like their wisdom is still worth something. But here's the heartbreaking truth. The way they ask for connection sometimes looks like criticism. It sounds like guilt. It feels like pressure. And that's when the children begin to pull away. Not because they don't love their parents, but because love mixed with guilt is a heavy burden to carry, one that wears down respect over time. There's a powerful insight we need to sit with. You don't want control, you want connection, but it got lost in the way you asked for it. And once that connection is broken, the damage is deeper than just missed phone calls or fewer visits. The worst part isn't that they stop respecting you. It's that somewhere along the way, in the fight to hold on to them, you stop recognizing the best parts of yourself. You lost your own light, and in doing so, you disappeared from the place of honor in their hearts. But here's the redemption. It's never too late to shift, to reconnect, to speak with warmth instead of worry, to listen without expectation, to show your strength not in control, but in calm confidence. And if this part of the video is touching something in you, maybe a realization, maybe a regret, that's not weakness. That's growth. That's your soul saying, "I want better. I want to rebuild." If you know someone else who might need this message too, someone who's struggling to feel heard or respected, share this video with them. Not to preach, but to say, "I'm walking this path too. Let's figure it out together." So if you've recognized yourself in the stories we've shared, if your heart whispered, "That might be me," don't let guilt weigh you down. Let it wake you up. Because here's the truth no one tells you loud enough. Respect can be lost, but it can also be reclaimed. Not by demanding it, not by lecturing, but by embodying the kind of presence that makes your children feel proud to be your child. And it begins with one quiet decision: to rise. First, choose power over pity. Let go of the need to be rescued. Don't let your identity shrink into your ailments or loneliness. Instead, do one thing each day that whispers to the world, I'm still here, I still matter. Take a walk, grow a garden, learn watercolor, learn how to use AI. When your children see you living, not just surviving, they won't just respect you, they'll admire you. You won't be the person they have to visit. You'll be the one they want to spend time with. Second, speak less, connect deeper. You don't need to say much. A warm glance, a question that shows you care, a smile that says, I'm listening. Sometimes the quietest parents leave the deepest mark because their presence doesn't drown the room, it grounds it. Your child may forget your advice, but they'll never forget how you made them feel when you looked them in the eyes and truly saw them. Third, don't fix their life, fix your glow. Stop trying to solve every problem in their life. You raise them. Trust that you did your part. Now shift the focus inward. What would make your life feel exciting again? What would make you feel radiant? The more alive you feel in your own journey, the more your kids will be drawn to you, not out of obligation, but out of inspiration. And finally, leave a legacy, not lectures. Instead of repeating the same lessons, write them down. Record the stories that shaped you. Share the memories that taught you grace, strength, and wisdom. Let your children and grandchildren learn from the richness of your life, not because you pushed it onto them, but because you lived it with such beauty that they couldn't help but want to understand it. When you live with meaning, you don't need to demand respect. It follows you quietly, like a shadow of dignity, gently trailing behind everything you do. So take this part of the video as your invitation, not just to fix what's broken, but to rediscover the best version of you. Because that version, calm, grounded, radiant, is the one your children were always waiting to see again. And trust me, they'll notice. They'll lean in. They'll listen differently. Because when you change the energy you bring into a room, the way people treat you changes too. So let me ask you this. Which version of yourself are you showing your children today? The one who quietly slips into the shadows of aging, or the one who rises with dignity even when it hurts? Respect is not something we ask for. It's something we embody. It's in the way we hold our silence, in the way we choose to heal instead of blame, in the way we live, even when no one is watching. Maybe you've made mistakes in the past. Maybe you've been the controller, the complainer, the victim, or the divider. But the beautiful thing about life after 60 is that it's never too late to rewrite how the story ends. Because when you shift, the energy around you shifts. And that, my friend, is when real respect returns. Not because they're afraid of you, but because they admire you again. So today, if this message stirred something inside you, if it made you reflect, question, or even cry a little, then let it be your turning point. A reminder that you are still the root of your family tree, and strong roots don't beg for attention. They hold the whole tree up quietly. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What's one behavior you think makes children lose respect for their parents? Comment below with just one thought. It could be something you've seen or something you've learned. Let's build a space for honesty and healing. Just type this. Respect is built, not demanded. And let's see how many hearts feel the same. If this video touched you, please tap the like button so more people can find this message. Subscribe to the channel for more videos that speak straight to the soul, about aging with grace, family with depth, and living the second half of life with power and peace. And if you'd like to support this journey of creating heartfelt content for our golden generation, consider clicking Super Thanks. Every little contribution helps spread this light a little further. Next week, we'll dive into another powerful topic. What if your children only visit out of duty, not love? Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Until then, remember this. You are not a burden. You are not invisible. You are still someone who deserves joy, dignity, and a life that feels full. Thank you for being here with me. And until next time, take care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next video.